Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Adrina. I am the owner and accountant here at Accounting by Adrina. And in today's video, I am going to be responding to a direct message that I received on Instagram. And so let me read you that message first, and then we'll get into my reply. All right. So this Instagram, I'm going to let them remain anonymous. This Instagram friend of mine said, I was watching your video on users on QuickBooks Online versus desktop, and I have a question. My husband hired a new bookkeeper, and she had access to his QuickBooks. He noticed some really strange activity on there since. For instance, someone other than her is listed in his transactions, who she says is her employee, who she allowed to do things on his account for training purposes. He's worried that she and he could possibly be doing something with his money. My question is, if they have access as bookkeepers to his QuickBooks, can they actually steal or transfer any of his money, or is that not possible? All right, friend, I am going to get into this, and I just want to say right off the bat, if there is something fishy that you feel is happening, I would automatically, right away, change all of your passwords, change your passwords for QuickBooks Online, change your passwords for the bank accounts, and remove any additional users that you allowed access to those accounts. So remove users for QuickBooks Online, remove any users that you have on your bank account, and that will immediately put a halt to anything fishy that another person can do. You can also make sure that you do like two-factor authentication when it comes to logging in. And I would just make sure that you do all of those things right away if you feel that there's anything fishy going on. But I want to give you a little bit of a little more kind of secure answer, so to speak. These are going to be some practical things that you can do to double check if your QuickBooks bookkeeper is stealing any money from you. So let me show you under the hood, so to speak, on what a bookkeeper can actually do. So as per usual, we are using the sample company to give you an idea of what's going on. And this is like the accountant perspective. So I want to show you a few areas that you can look at just to ensure that things are all good. So first of all, in this bank account section, you can navigate there either on this little like card, or you can go to transactions and then bank transactions from the left bar. Either way, it's going to take you to the same area. So I'm just going to minimize the sidebar here. Okay, there we go. Now, what you can do is review your transactions. So these are transactions that have already hit the bank. And if you see something that is out of the ordinary, that's what I would question. So I would go to your bookkeeper specifically and ask them, what is this? Now, the only way they would have access to your bank accounts is if they have a login to the separate website. From here, there's really nothing you can do on this side. So like if I were to try to link an account, I would need bank account access. So this is why the owner usually does this piece of it. So then they would just select whichever, let's see, whichever bank they're using, and then they would just enter their, obviously like we can't do anymore, but let's say I was using Bank of America and I have a checking, savings, and a credit card, then I would just enter my login information here, and then it would pop up another screen that says like, which accounts do you want to connect? And that is the extent of it. Like there's nothing that I can do from this website to access your bank accounts otherwise. Like it's just pulling in transactional data. So I wouldn't be able to make a transfer. I wouldn't be able to make a charge on your credit card. I would just be able to look at the past transactions. So something that has already happened. I cannot create a new transaction based off of this. Now, of course, we can enter, checks that were written or expenses that we know about or invoices to customers. And that is all done within the QuickBooks screen, the QuickBooks login. It's not like I am actually going to your bank and withdrawing money. All right, so I just wanted to make sure that that was absolutely clear on this end. Now, there's two other ways that you can kind of look at the back end of what's happening in QuickBooks. So the first one that I want to show you is if you navigate to this gear icon, it's going to bring up another menu, and under your company, then there's manage users. So if you click on that, what will happen is there will be a list of people that are like connected to QuickBooks. So it would just be whoever is a user. Now, the accountants have their own separate tabs. So like if it's an accounting firm like my firm, or if it's like your CPA firm, they would be listed over here on the user side. Sometimes CPAs are given user access where it's view only. And that is actually what I recommend for people who do your tax filing. So that way they can just pull all of their own reports that they need. Also, for like if you're a nonprofit, a user with view only access would be helpful when it comes to like a tax accountant or CPA that is performing an annual audit. So that's where you go, gear icon, manage users, and then you can see everything of who is, who has access to your QuickBooks account. Now, the other way that I wanted to show you was this piece called audit log. Now, I'm using this in accountant view, so only the accountant has access to this. You can see if like you're a primary admin on your account, then you might be able to see the audit log as well. But this is really, 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 really helpful for me, because then I can come in here and look at the audit log and see, it timestamps every single thing that happens in QuickBooks. So if I have a bookkeeper that's helping me with an account, I can see exactly everything that they're doing. Or if the owner is also helping with some transactions or entering invoices, I can also see what they're doing here. And this way I can identify, like if something was coded wrong, then I can, call that out. But generally speaking, this is where you would go to identify like what exactly are people doing in my QuickBooks. So those are kind of like the areas that you can check in terms of like what's happening on the back end, what's my accountant doing, who has access to my QuickBooks account. So again, that's manage users, audit log. And once again, on the bank transactions, like I cannot access your bank account through this screen. So I hope that was helpful. That's all I have for you guys today. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.